Hello and welcome to another tutorial. Today I want to have a closer look on the AEOLIAN scale or the natural minor scale. The natural minor or the AEOLIAN scale is one of the most common and most frequently used scales in Western music. The other scale is the Ionian scale or the natural major scale. The minor scale has a sad sound. I think you can, if you just want to use one adjective, it would be sad. And therefore it's really good for heavy music, and most of the metal songs are in minor anyways, so why not start with the natural minor scale? Now I want to show you how you would actually build a minor scale, and because this is a tutorial video I chose my teaching guitar, which is a Fender Stratocaster, in standard E tuning. Because we are talking metal or death metal, we mostly use the actual scale that is our lowest tuned string. For this instance it's E. So all my examples are in E minor. But if you've tuned down to D or C or B, it would be D minor, C minor, B minor, etc. So we start with the first note, it's an E. Then we go up 2 frets, second fret, F sharp, 1 fret up, G, 2 frets, A, 2 frets, B, 1 fret, C, 2 frets, D, and when we go up another 2 frets, we're back at E. So that's the whole scale. So with this scale material we can actually build chords. And for the E, it's an E minor chord. For the F sharp, it's an F sharp diminished. For the G, it's a G major. A, it's A minor. For B, it's B minor. C, it's C major. And for D, it's D major. So now you have all the chords for making music. So for instance, you could use a very standard chord progression that's E, C, D. It's basically every Iron Maiden song. And then back on the E. But we have one problem here, because on our second note, the F sharp, the F sharp diminished chord, it's really dissonant. And this is really cool for metal because dissonance is good. You might want to use a bit more good sound or a bit more in tune sound, and you can use a trick. You can actually make this F sharp an F sharp power chord by raising the C up 1 semitone to a C sharp, and then we have a power chord. So if you want to do quarter riffings in E minor, you might want to include the F power chord and therefore a C sharp. Fun fact, this would be the E Dorian mode. I'm not sure it's a fun fact though, it's rather boring. So of course we don't want to play always on the lowest strings. So here are all the notes that are in the E natural minor scale from the 1st to the 12th fret, and after the 12th fret everything repeats, so I didn't include it. So you can basically use all those notes in all those positions. For instance, this note is okay, this note isn't, if you want to keep it natural minor. So in the next part of the video I'll actually show you how to use the natural minor scale in death metal. And since I'm not teaching the theory stuff, but metal, I'll switch guitars. So now I have my trusty Black Hat custom, and this is a 7th string with the lowest string B. So all the following examples are actually in B natural minor. So the most common approach for a minor scale would be using some chords, power chords in some combination, basically creating your own chord progressions. I'll play you some examples. This was a really common chord progression, as I mentioned before, the E, C, D, and this was a B, or in the tuning that I am, it would be a B and a G and an A and then an F sharp. Yeah, so another progression where I show you that you can get away with raising the C to C sharp would be this here. I don't want to confuse you, therefore I will talk as if I would have played in E minor, although I played in B minor. And you could see that I used both the C chord and the F sharp power chord, which has a C sharp in it, so therefore you actually shouldn't use C and C sharp in the same progression or whatever, but since we're doing power chords, you can get away with it. So that's a cool trick, and the only thing you should be aware of is that if you play solos over the F sharp power chord, you should really decide whether playing C sharp or C, because it might sound a bit off. So another cool trick where the natural minor scale is heavily used is basically single note riffs, and be it either pure single note with the same pedal tone or using different pedal tones. Just make sure you're staying in the natural minor scale. So therefore we could play something like this. This wasn't a riff, this was basically me improvising badly. But you get the idea. It sounds wonderful with the natural minor scale. Another approach would be to actually play a melody with an underlying chord. And here is yet again another trick for you. When you have a dedicated, let's say we have a chord progression, and let's keep it simple here. We have the so it's a really simple chord progression. And now you want to create a melody. I will do an upcoming video on how to create melodies for death metal, but let me talk this very briefly. Basically your chord, your E power chord consists of 3 notes. It's the E, the G and the B. And you should use the same notes for your melody that are already in the chord, at least for the start. You can of course implement some other tones, but on the start of each bar or each chord there should be a tone that's really in tune. So therefore you could start with the actual tone. So chord E plus the E melody. Now, when I switched over to the C chord, I intentionally used the F sharp that's not in the C major chord, and it created this tense feeling, but I quickly solved it by playing the G, which is the fifth of C major, and I solved it, and now you can see what's possible and how to create some tense feelings or some dissonances that aren't as dissonant as in bad music, for instance. So another trick that I really like, I don't start with the actual root note, but with the third. And the third, it's a G here, and it defines if the chord is minor or major, and therefore it's really sad sounding when I play the fifths. Let me show you the difference. Root, and now. Hope you heard the difference. Now I can go one step up and actually play the E over the C chord, and the E is actually the major third, so it will create more or less a happy feeling. So it wasn't quite audible, but I switched to the D major and played again the major third, and you could basically hear the happy feeling. So if you don't want to create any happy feelings at all, skip the major thirds. And if you think, well, Doma, I don't quite get it, what's with this thirds, minor, major, whatever, no problem. If you know how to build the scale, simply play your root note and then play another note, maybe an octave up or 2 octaves up, and just listen to the sound. If it sounds good, it is good. For instance, good. Good. Now we have to wait. Not really good. I wouldn't start with this. That's good. That's good. Not so much. No, that's not good. That's better. This might work. You basically get the idea. So yeah, I think I gave you a good overview of the AEOLIAN scale and how to use it when create song material or melodies or chords or whatever. So I have 2 questions here. First question, how do you use the natural minor scale? And the second, what do you want to see next in this episode, or what do you want to see more of the natural minor scale, or maybe any other scale? I have some scales up in my mind that I definitely want to talk about, but maybe you have some that I haven't thought of yet. So let me know down in the comment section. Oh, and if you want to support this channel, check out the links in the description and maybe follow me on Instagram. And with this said, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. May the force be with you and have a nice day.